You join me down here today at Hunnington fishery. Beautiful little place, to be honest. There's about 5 pools in total. You've got the 2 main pools down the bottom, which gets fished by matches and stuff. You've got a little stock pool at the top. Then there's another 2 pools, quite stocked well as well. So today, I'm going to set a little challenge: float fishing and feeder fishing, and see which one wins really. So yeah, catch you on the pool. See you there. To be honest, I'm just using these are the fishery pellets, which is worth using, to be honest. It's what they've been stocked up on. Absolutely love these. And then obviously glug choice I'm going to be using vanilla. What I'll do with that is I'll just mix it in the water first. Cloudy. So I've got there. And I'll just add a bit of ground back to these pellets then. And then I can add the water to that. Because it would be in a method mix, I'm using a method feed. It'll look quite wet to start with. I'm going to leave like 10 minutes probably now and then. Quite a nice consistency for that feed. Obviously at the minute it's quite wet. I'm just going to leave that to dry out a bit. And then we can get fishing. But obviously first so very simple rigs, to be honest. It's got a little inline feeder, little size 4 shot, and then we got the little just little pre-tied Preston Air rig size 12 hook, and then they've got a little bait screw on the end there like that. Just quick changes really. So that's the feeder rig. Obviously that would be fish with a mix we just made. And then going to be fishing a little pellet wagler. And the reason being is I like big floats for one. Just because I could change the size of the bait, whether I fish big or small on that. Quite an heavy float, if I want to cast a bit further, I could fish it in the margin. As I said, obviously a bit overcast today, but if the sun was out, then I'd probably fish it shallow a bit later on, with a pellet on. So yeah, that'll be the float rig. It's got 2 rubber bead stops there, which also I love using. Just stops any line damage really, more so. And then I'll just use a bit of zig line, just thinner, a little bit thinner to the main line that I'm fishing with. And then we've got a little size 10 hook, a little bit bigger than usual, but I'm going to be fishing like double worm, maybe double corn, just pick out the bigger fish. There is some bigger fish in here, to be honest, a few doubles. Yeah, and then just loop that on so I can change that again if I need to a bit later on. But we are going to start with the feeder, and then a bit later on I'm probably just going to bait up the margin a little bit just while I'm on the feeder. And then so the float rod is going to be fishing. I've just soaked a little bit of corn in some mineral liquid and water. Just stops any of them little bits floating, really. So yeah, corn on the float rig. Got some worms to try as well, and that'll be it really. Like I said, I could switch between. I've got a few hook pellets and stuff like that a bit later on, and then we're going to be fishing these two on the feeder. Really good baits, to be honest. I've always used them when I've been fishing the feeder. Nice bright colours, nice attractants as well. So yeah, start with the feeder. Hopefully we can get some fish. Right, so now that ground bait's aired out just a little bit, and they get fishing. So I just get sucked on like that. And then obviously there's different ways of doing this, but I'll just get it wrapped around there like that. Just tuck my hook bait in there, bit over the top. I always leave it showing just because there has been times where they've literally took it on the drop, so just wrapping it up like that, and then we're fishing. Just going to dink that out there like that. I do always leave my drag off, just in case you do get that big pull. But obviously I'm normally watching the rod tip most of the time anyway. It's just if that little turn to do something. You might know it's not actually using a feeder rod. It's a cart rod, but most rods, probably 9 times out of 10, you will see the indication on anyway. As long as you're watching that rod tip. But obviously, yeah, you'll soon know about it when you get a carp on the end. stocky. One for the feeder. Nice little stocky. Again. Absolute beautiful fish. So yeah. 2-0. 2-0 to the feeder. Got a lot of fight these little carp. A little bit better though. Drop the rig. Nice looking mirror. Beautiful fish again. Imagine that being a 40. Maybe one day. Well, hold up. See, float fishing, feeder fishing for me, which brings back a lot of memories, to be honest. Even just today, sitting behind the float rod, it gets you thinking. I think, luckily for me, when I was younger, I was brought up on an estate where we had in between, we had the canal, and at the back we had the river. So a lot of fishing was done. First thing on a weekend, straight over there, fishing. Used to even night fish before school. Just sit there with the little night lights on the floats, like just catching bream after bream, big perch, big pike. To be honest, it was a good stretch of canal, and I think that's where it all started for me. Like I said, I had the luxury of having that fishing area, so that was like all we ever did. But yeah, float fishing,
something I'll always do. Obviously, I do a lot of carp fishing now. But every now and again, I'll get the float rod out, feeder rod like I have today. Yeah, it's lovely, absolutely lovely. A little bit of a better fish this time. Nice common. A bit bigger. Oh, I'm back. So on to the float. I've got two spots in mind actually. I've got a tree over there, willow tree. Anybody that knows me knows that I love a tree, so I want to bait up a little spot over there, and I've got a little margin spot down here. Just a few weeds, to be honest, quite a few weeds located around the pool anyway. But there's a little bed of floating weeds just down this corner, so I'm gonna just drop it into there. As I said, I've put a little bit of bait in already. And I've seen a few smaller carp just moving in. Nothing major, but I mean, if I keep feeding that spot most of the day, then they will come down there. I'm just fishing double worm. On that size 10 hook. Just like so. Then I'll just drop it in that edge. Nice and slow, just so we don't spook anything that's already down there. So there's a few now on the feeder. I'm just going to try and stalk a couple down this edge now on a worm. Hopefully get something a little bit better. I'm trying to fish shallow because it all seems to be up in the water, to be fair at the minute. Some worms. Just hooking them on like that. Double worm. They've got the point showing a little bit. So they've got a few just at the back. That's all I've done while I've been fishing the feeder. I've just been putting little bits of bait down by this tree. And seems to be a lot of fish built up in it, to be honest. As I said, they all seem to be quite high in the water today. See the lot surfacing. Fuck. And that's what ducks can do to your chances. Right, so what would have really helped then is if I had press record. So where I was saying was, we've got a fair few in the swim here. Just and chuck in a little bit of bait down. Try not to get annoyed by the ducks, you know. So we've got a fair few in the swim here now. We've got them feeding. Literally got them by our feet. So I think with this kind of fishing, it's exciting, but you gotta have a lot of patience as well. Because you've just got another difference between liners and bites. Steam common. Nothing major. But just shows a bit of time and patience in the edge on a little baited spot. Gets us the little bites we need. A little bit bigger, nothing major, but yeah, we'll take it. Probably about £6-7. Nice looking common. Yeah, slipping back. Hopefully we can get something bigger. Bigger. Getting a little bit bigger, just slipping back. Now if we can get a little bit bigger than this before we go. But yeah, nice fish. nice looking common, just from the margins. On the feeder again, so hopefully slipping back and get something a little bit bigger. But nah, lovely looking fish. Lovely little mirror. When you take fish like that all day, absolutely beautiful little thing. Beautiful little mirror. So imagine catching him on a match. So that's a nice double. It's a good fish that. So used to catch him, a few of them on a match. Just lies away. Good fish, to be honest. Whoa. A few of them. Lovely looking mirror. Again, a few of them in a match, laughing. Happy with that. Hopefully we can get one or two more bigger ones just before we leave. Yeah, nice. Another nice one. Just stuck nicely in the lip there. Oh, slippery. Another nice fish fusing a match for the match anglers. They just tend to come about this size about this time, unfortunately, but yeah, another nice one. Slipping back and hopefully get one more at least just before we go. I think it's fair to say, feeder for the win. It's been a really enjoyable day actually. I've fished both the same, feeder and wagler in the margin. Quite fun fishing the wagler in the margin actually, having them right under your feet. But yeah, just the way it is, feeder's the win today. Quite surprisingly actually, because as I said earlier, they've been quite high up in the water today. But I managed to get them down in the shallows, put a bit of bait down there, drop the feeder on. Yeah, it seems to be the one. But thanks for watching, thanks for coming fishing with me, and I'll catch you on the next one.